Is there any chance Anthony Davis stays loyal? What would have to happen? With Cousins leaving him in the dust in what he called the best basketball decision of his career, it seems Davis will just follow the same path. So if he does, where does he leave to? In the time being, though, he's still a Pel through 2021, unless he pulls a Kawhi or Jimmy. However, does this Pelicans roster have a shot at a playoff upset if they can sneak into the playoffs? Today I answer all those questions and more. Shout out to Royal, who notes the beastly performance from Bismack Biyombo in Game 3 of the 2016 East Finals. That's a great memory for me personally as a Raps fan. Despite slowing down over the last few years on other teams, that performance made Bismack a legend in Toronto. Great take. Stay tuned for my question today, then leave your opinion if you want next vid shoutout. Now 18 are tied for second place in Community Speaks with one shoutout. The Anthony Davis rumors ring a bell for Pelicans/Hornets fans. This franchise traded away their last top 10 player in CP3. The roster surrounding him just wasn't close to convincing Paul that he wanted to spend his future there. Exactly 10 years later, after a teardown of the roster and years of losing, they're back staring mediocrity directly in the face, just like they were with Paul. So, before the Davis rumors, here's how the Pelicans fared this offseason. When your organization isn't known for anything special, that kind of reflects the players you attract in free agency. Other than the Randall pickup, which I'll get to. Definitely like the Jared Jack pickup as well. You're facing teams night in, night out in the NBA who have talented point guard depth. Obviously, Drew Holiday's your starter, providing AD's ball handling and being his lob passer. A top all-around point guard in the NBA. His backup in Jack has 399 career starts, which at first you look at and you say, it's good to have a guy with that much experience, but he is in his 15th season. It's been a pretty good ride for Jarrett. Didn't show signs of slowing down last season. It's good to have a vet like him. Elfrid Payton struggled with Phoenix at the end of last season, but was efficient for the first half with Orlando. He's pretty unpredictable as coaches worry about playing him heavy minutes with his obvious lack of a three-pointer. Most of their new acquisitions or re-signings aren't worth going in depth on. The two most notable moves are Jahlil Okafor and Julius Randle. It's the third team in 3 years for the number 3 overall pick in 2015. He's shown to be an example of the type of bigs that have gone extinct. You put Jahlil in almost any decade other than this one, where teams ran their offense through the post. His low post talent could thrive and be enough for him to be a starting NBA center, potentially even an all-star, because his work in the post hasn't been the problem, it's just everything else. With all the shooting big men in the NBA, he struggles to compete with those guys on the perimeter. Randall's another lottery pick who hasn't lived up to expectations, but this is only his second team. He and Jahlil's NBA outcomes really can't be compared. I talked yesterday about how I think he's the perfect fit due to his struggles defensively. Davis being the best statistically ranked big man defender in the NBA will help him out a lot. What I didn't focus on yesterday was the two unique elements he brings to the Pelicans. First one's mobility, something Cousins lacked. Randall has no problem playing transition basketball, grabs the board, and either will give and go with the guard or take it himself at 6'9", 250. That leads into element number 2, which is physicality. He's a presence on the glass, and at the intimidating size I just mentioned, after he grabs the rebound, getting a full head of steam, he's damn tough to stop. The Davis to LA rumors started up a little under a week ago, and they make sense. Both AD and LeBron are represented by the notorious agent Rich Paul. Also, the pick-and-roll combo of AD and LeBron would be a powerhouse and makes the Lakers 20 times more scary. So that's it for the Pelicans, though. They probably receive Ingram, Kuz. If they don't get at least one of those two, they can't pull the trigger on a trade to LA. It's not acceptable for New Orleans fans to have to sit through yet another 10 years of being an underwhelming team. Let's say you trade AD this year. Wouldn't be the worst decision. You avoid diminishing his trade value. You get rising scorer, who I think has the potential to be a second, at the very least third option, Kyle Kuzma. But what about Drew Holiday at age 28? Still has a future in this league with players casually thriving past age 30 nowadays. The man's never really had any major injuries as well. Would any team take on his $26 million contract? Even if you trade AD, you could just keep him. Like I said, he still has years left in the tank. Maybe he'll approve of the tank if it means being in the range to draft Zion Williamson. Then your core of the everlasting top defender Drew Holiday, 23-year-old lethal long-range power forward Kyle Kuzma, and the explosive Zion Williamson is nothing to be messed with out west. My first bold prediction for the Pelicans season is that Nikola Mirotic and Julius Randle have 1 to 2 on-court altercations, given their fiery personalities. Mirotic has taken a punch before, maybe that was Bobby Portis's undoing, but nonetheless, this is a fun prediction. Second bold prediction, maybe this doesn't earn its boldness like my last one. I think the Pels front office into February is hesitant about giving up their superstar, but after the All-Star break, which when it'll be too late to land Zion based on your record, and to even trade Davis as you're past the trade deadline, they start to become open to the idea of an AD trade after the season. I think he's moved next summer. His value gets somewhat diminished, which I'm sorry to say, Pels fans. I hope your guys can prove me wrong this season. No hate towards the fan base or players, just making the best predictions I can. And if you guys do prove me wrong and they start hot, I'll post another Pels vid. But for all types of NBA talk, list rankings, updates, hot takes, predictions, stories, even 2K19, hit subscribe. Thanks a ton for watching. Have a great night. As always, this has been D-Flow. See you tomorrow.